Rochelle of the Athlete Center. This video is going over the plank into downward dog. So this is a shoulder exercise. It's also a core exercise. It can be a neck exercise. But in this case, we're going to be working on primarily shoulder flexion. So being able to move our shoulder from this position to this position. So you might have pain moving in this position, and this is what we call open kinetic chain. When we plant our hands on the floor, that's closed kinetic chain. So that helps to promote the muscles that help to stabilize our shoulders. So we're going to move through a closed kinetic chain version. So easier version here is to start in a quadruped position, so knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders, and then lifting our front body up to meet our back body, so kind of filling the space between our shoulder blades without rounding our back. So nice long spine. And then an easier version here is to lift up from our knees and then lift our hips towards the sky. So you can see my shoulders and arms are moving into flexion. They're moving in towards an overhead position. So you can shorten your range depending on your ability and your pain, or we can go a little bit further. So if we start in a full plank position, so again, we're lifting our front body up to meet our back body, but without rounding through our spine, so nice long spine. And we're gonna push our hands into the floor and then lift our hips up into an overhead position. So in this case, we wanna kind of keep our lower ribs hugging down, so not letting our lower ribs flare towards the floor. This is different than a yoga downward dog. We're working on shoulder upward rotation, so upward rotation of our shoulder blade, and then pure shoulder flexion. So we can transition from our plank to our overhead position, and then with control back to our plank again, making sure we stay lifted up between our shoulder blades, not letting this happen. Keep this lift and keeping the lower ribs hugging out. So easier version, starting with knees bent, pushing over, and then harder version from a high plank, pushing into this overhead position. And that's our shoulder flexion exercise in a closed kinetic chain, a plank to a downward dog.